comments with regard to this matter, and also received public testimony and public comment with regard to the application, both in favor of the application and in opposition to the application. I will nevertheless once again introduce the planning staff. The gentleman sitting at the table is Assistant Planning Director Dylan Pipinich. On Dylan's right is Planning Director Lori Casey, and directly across from Lori is Carol Laird, the Secretary, who will be recording the minutes of this meeting. The board members that are present tonight are Garrett Craig, Sylvia Cunningham, Julie Jackshaw, myself, Dave Wing. I'll be chairing the meeting tonight. Lauren Burmeister and Tyler Schaefer. With regard to the board members, at the last meeting, Lauren and Sylvia believed that they had conflicts which would prevent them from participating in the discussion. With regard to Lauren, that conflict has been resolved, and since he was here, as was Sylvia, Lauren will be participating in the board discussion and will be voting on the matter tonight. There will be 5 votes, then 5 members voting on this matter, but it will still require 4 votes for the applications to be approved. So the matters in question were special use application 21-6 and variance application 21-3. Both were by Sam Redfern on behalf of O'Barrow LLC, Scott Salich on behalf of Copper Energy Storage, and Tim Dick is also here present representing Copper Energy Storage LLC and Plus Power. Since the last meeting, by the way, it was not closed at that time. The public testimony was not closed. And so we have now had the opportunity to review further matters that were submitted to us. And Lori will review what those matters are, identify them from the people that submitted them and give their names.
Okay. Mr. Chairman, the board received copies of letters in opposition from Helen Ronco at 116 Lindale Lane, Brad Belke from 134 Majestic View, Terry Belke, 134 Majestic View. You received an email from Mary Ann Frank. Don't believe there's an address listed on her communication. And one from Edward Simonich from 208 Blacktail Canyon Road. And then you also received more information on the rebuttal and a letter from Mr. Tim Dick, the applicant's attorney, on behalf of Copper Energy Storage LLC. So those letters and information, all of the information that was submitted with them were supplied to all board members via email. And you also have a copy at your desk there.
Okay, so that will conclude the public portion of this meeting. No further testimony will be received tonight, and we'll now submit the matter for board discussion. And we had quite a meeting the last time with lots of information. Does anybody care to make any comments with regard to this matter?
Mr. Chairman, I would like to make some comments, please. When reviewing these special use permits, we are asked to consider a number of criteria. It is my personal belief that this project fails to meet a number of these criteria. Most importantly, the use or zone classification would enhance or promote the comprehensive development of the immediate neighborhood and community. The use or classification will not adversely affect nearby properties or their occupants, and the compatibility of the proposed project with existing buildings, structures, neighborhood topography, or other considerations and the expressed public opinion, most importantly relating to the criteria enumerated above. I think the public has spoken loud and clear on this. Most of the opposition, almost all of the opposition has been from immediate neighbors, close neighbors, people in that general vicinity. It's my thought that about the only benefit that I can really see to the community at large is the potential increase to our local tax base. I believe that this potential benefit comes at the detriment of the surrounding property values in the area. I believe that there are probably better places to locate this project. I also understand that the location that is proposed before us tonight and last month is an ideal place for the company. I think it probably is perfect for them. It's not so ideal for the people who have to live around that. And like numerous neighbors had stated before, when they bought their properties thinking that that was for residential development going forward, not for this kind of industrial development. I don't know if industrial is the proper term for that, but I just don't think that, I love the idea of this project. I know that it's needed. I know that the future of energy is going in the direction of battery storage, and frankly, we probably need to get on board with that at some point, somewhere. I just don't think that this area is the right place for it at this time. Thank you.
Thank you, Tyler. Do any other board members have any comments or thoughts with regard to this?
Mr. Chairman, I don't know if I can ask a question at this point.
No.
Then I'll ask you a question at
Sure.
this point, and the rest of the committee. With the RFP that was in place, and the fact that the RFP, it doesn't sound like is going to work out, does that matter in this instance?
No, it doesn't.
Okay. Well, then I would echo Tyler's comments. I mean, some of the concerns that I have is as we move forward with zoning in Butte, I think it's really important that we try to look strategically as we grow our community. And the fact that this was zoned residential, I understand that the substation is already there. But since then, the activity in that area has been all residential houses. And when folks located out there, you know, they were under that impression that yes, the substation would be there, but I don't think that they realized that there could be new development of industrial proportions in that area. So I think that we have to consider that. I do agree with the use of the zone and the classification of the zoning. You know, we get a lot of requests to, for example, not build sidewalks. And we always say, well, if we don't start somewhere, then how are we going to get anywhere with sidewalks? That's the same thing with this. If we do grant this and we allow them to go there, then what stops the next application? And how do we ever really manage our growth and our zoning and our planning and what the community wants? And in my opinion, it was overwhelming that the neighbors do not want this proposal in their neighborhood. And for that matter, I don't see how I can support it.
Thank you, Ms. Jackshaw. Any further comments, Lauren or Garrett?
Mr. Chairman, I would echo Tyler and Julie's comments. This application needs to satisfy a number of criteria. Most important in my mind is criteria J, public health and safety. If this application would be approved, public health and safety needs to be of the utmost importance. I think the applicant fell short of those requirements in their initial application, and subsequent information still falls short in my mind. And that's what sticks out to me reviewing this application. So I would have a hard time supporting approval because of that.
Okay, thank you, Garrett.
Mr. Chairman, as I think through this development and what's being proposed, the public comment to it, I maybe looked at it a little bit different in that does it matter whether it's a battery storage facility or any other industrial development? What would be our reaction as the zoning board to an industrial development in the Blacktail Creek area or Blacktail Loop area? Given the way that areas developing? Is this consistent with the land use? The substantial changes is one of the criteria, and that area has very specifically become a higher-end residential area that's highly sought after for residents of Butte. And so I don't think we would allow any other industrial development to occur out there. We would point them towards the industrial park or to other areas where those developments are appropriate. I'm 100% behind renewable energy opportunities, and I think it's a great opportunity for those kind of industries to come to Butte and the surrounding area, and I hope they do. Battery storage will work on a number of substations. Obviously, this one's ideal because of the 3 different phases of power, but it does not preclude other substations where local neighborhoods are not being affected, where a variance permit would not be needed, where a special use permit would not be needed. And so I think there's absolutely the opportunity for the developer to do this project in the right area, but this isn't the right area.
Okay. Thank you, Lauren. Well, all board members have commented with regard to this particular matter, and I was wondering if anybody has a motion that they would like to make with regard to the special use application 21-6 and also variance application 21-3. We'll consider them together.
Mr. Chairman, I would like to make a motion that we deny special use application 21-06 and at the same time deny variance 21-3.
Okay.
I would second that motion.
Okay. Everybody in favor of the motion will now vote for it or against it, depending on which way you want to go. But if you vote for the motion, you are denying the application, both the variance application and the special use application. And don't forget to put your reasons down on the ballot. Thank you, Maria. Thanks, Julie. Thank you again. With regard to special use application 21-6, all 5 votes are for the motion, which means that the application has been denied, and the applicant will be receiving a letter to that effect. With regard to the variance application, all 5 votes are for the motion, so that application has also been denied by the board. With regard to our decisions tonight, their next course of action, if you determine to pursue it, would be filing a petition with the district court, and that has to be done within 30 days, with day 1 being tomorrow. So that's, and you can contest our decision at the district court level. Thank you for your attendance tonight.
Well, we got no further business, right? And end it, yeah. Yeah.
Julie, could I just put a date on there? Okay. It is. No, it's fine. No, we got
Other business.
kind of,
Yeah.
some other
Well,
business,
no.
off the record business.
Yeah. We don't have any other business tonight, Mr. Chairman, so if you want to go ahead with the adjournment, once you adjourn, staff would like some advice from the board on some matters, but it would be
Okay.
just a working session, so we don't need to be on the record for that.
So this meeting is adjourned, and we will stick around for